All right, Darrell Martin, welcome to my channel. Welcome to an interview.
Hey,
Um,
how you doing?
Good. I'm very happy to have you here. Very blessed to have you join us and for Apex changing our lives. And I just want to say thank you so much for creating Apex, for being here, and for being an awesome CEO. So if you want to get started, can you just tell a little bit about how Apex got started? What made you want to start it? And did you ever think it would be as big as it is today?
I wanted to start it because I didn't like any of the other prop firms and all the ways that they tried to make you fail.
Right.
Like literally fail. Like, okay, your account's gone, you know. And so I didn't like that. I wanted to be the firm that paid out the most money.
Hmm.
It seemed like that was none of the firm's goals, and of course we've done that. We paid over $330 million out now and
Which is
continuing to
insane, by the
rise.
way.
Yeah, I mean, we're going on, we're shooting for a billion.
Yeah.
And so just doing it the way I wished it would have been done as a trader, but also doing it the way that's healthy for a company.
Right.
So it stays in business and continues to be a good thing for the trader. So
Okay. And so as far as Apex, I know right now you guys are paying out over 30 million a month. Do you guys see yourself growing month over month in the future up to $1 billion maybe by next year?
that's my goal. My goal is $1 billion by the end of next year.
Okay. That will be amazing. I mean, like when you started Apex, I think I saw your Facebook post one time. You were saying that you just wanted to teach your daughter how to trade. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah. When I started Apex Investing like 15 years ago, yeah, my education company, and I was just recording videos to teach her how to trade. So she'd have that when she got older.
Right.
And one of my friends borrowed the videos and liked them so much, he's like, let's make this into a website. And so it ended up becoming an educational website.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when you started Apex as a prop firm, how did you really structure it to be different from everyone else? Because there's no other company in this space that has paid out as much as Apex has. Not even close. I mean, you guys pay out more in 1 month than people have in their entire lifespan.
Right.
So like that's just incredible. So kudos to you, kudos to Apex for doing that, and I hope it keeps going. So when you started Apex, what was your core vision? Was it just to create a funding company, or was it something more than that?
It was to create an opportunity
Uh-huh.
for people to be able to, make a living trading, hopefully, and to give them that chance to come in and get on an account, learn how to trade in a safer environment instead of losing $25,000, $50,000, or $10,000. They lose, $30 or 80
Yeah.
bucks or 100
Yeah.
bucks. And they can do that over and over and over again. And it's still the experience that adds up, way outweighs doing that with your own live money. And then all of a sudden, like feeling like you just lost the rent money, you
Hmm.
know? And I wanted to do it without a lot of rules in the evaluations. I wanted the evaluations to be very simple. I saw no beat. The evaluation to me is very simple. It's can you manage the risk with the trailing stop to hit a take profit without hitting the trailing drop down?
Right.
That's all we're trying to see. We're not trying to see more than that. And then we're trying to see in the PA accounts, can you manage your trades consistently so we can put you into live?
Mhm.
And so help traders move from that evaluation to getting paid to live account because that's where they eventually want to be anyway, is in a live account where they're, and eventually managing just their own money.
Right.
So
So a lot of people want to stay in sim because they think having 20 PA accounts is more lucrative, I guess, than being in a live account. Do you agree with that, or how do you feel about that? If you were a trader yourself, like one of us, what would you
mm,
prefer? Because you've been on both sides now, and you're
there's advantages to being in sim because every account acts like you're the only trader in the world. So the 20 accounts let you build up your balance faster for going into live.
yeah,
But if you're doing well, you're going to go to live. That's just part of the process.
right,
It's
and
not a it's not a vote. It's a you're doing well, you've graduated, you're doing great, time to move on.
right, and Apex. Now I see it. They're you guys are really creating a straight path alive. It looks like. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
So as of right now, Do you know how many live traders you have? Just like a guesstimate?
John manages all of that. I have no idea what number that is,
Okay.
but it's growing. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Apex has obviously rebranded itself recently to with a new logo. I love it, by
yeah.
the way. It's a really nice logo. I like the crown too. I have a shirt with the wear a hat with a crown on it.
Cool.
But so when you have hats again, let me get one with the new logo as well.
Yeah, we're gonna redo the store and reopen it back up.
Yeah, that was
So
cool because like it makes you feel like accomplished when I got my gift. I had a hoodie, I had a mouse pad, and a hat. I mean,
yeah,
they're just gifts, right? But they make me feel like I'm part of the Apex family, and
yeah,
it makes me feel like I actually earned this because you only get it if you had payouts, right?
right.
Okay. So let's talk about Apex 3.0. So
Yeah.
what made Apex really push towards all these changes and changing the guidelines of the program? Was it regulations? Was it because of people trying to game the system? Was it because of another reason?
Well, it started off with we originally we had a bunch of rules for a long time that we really just didn't have the staff to enforce. Right? Like no DCA has been a rule since day one.
Right.
We had a lot of rules like that that have been in rules since day one. We just didn't have the staff to go in and like check every account, make everything happen, and we didn't have the programming in place. And it wasn't really that big of a deal until some bad actors started streaming how to take advantage of all this stuff and how
Yeah.
to work the system. And so all of a sudden you get streamers streaming to 1,000 people, all breaking the rules.
Right.
And so then we had to start enforcing the rules.
Mhm.
And people felt like we were adding new rules when we were just enforcing the rules. But we figured there was a better way, and so we spent a lot of time working on okay, how can we simplify this without having this rule and 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 this rule that we've had since day one?
Mhm.
But how can we simplify it? And so that really came down to uh, really the 30% because it took care of everything. It allowed people to DCA without abusing DCA
Right.
in a way that blows their account.
Yeah.
Because it's 30% per trade. So, which would mean any trade you're adding on to a trade would count as part of that trade.
Yeah.
People like, bracket ordering, blowing one side to go the other side, all that stuff, and trading the news and, losing 60% to gain $5, stuff like that. So, 30% sort of took care of everything. And, uh, and the 30% thing isn't a daily rule. It isn't a multiple trades rule. It's a single trade. So it's literally don't risk more than 30% of your account on a single trade, which is an insane amount. I mean, if you read most trading books, they say don't risk more than 2%.
Exactly.
So we're saying don't risk more than 30. So we're being really, really, really lenient, but still trying to get people that, prop firm edge of doing things a little bit more extreme than they would if they were in their own account. Because there are some great traders out there that do have some good strategies. And so we wanted to sort of open the doors back up, and it was more getting rid of rules by adding the 30%. So it sort of took care of a bunch of those abuses all in one.
Right. I'm gonna get back to
And the other big reason is we have to set up our traders because the CME's coming in. We just did like a 20-page document with them. Okay.
oh, wow.
So like we're interacting with them and about how the industry set up, how we're set up, what is our plan. They want to know that there is a plan to move people to live.
Right.
If they don't want just their data being used just for data. Um, and so we have to know who we can move to live, and we can't move people to live that only last one payout.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so that was another rule that had to come into place was people would draw, they go to 2,600 and they would draw 2,000, they have $600 left, they'd blow it, in one or two trades, and so that's where we had to implement the safety net rule because we needed people to be able to actually have their account survive past one payout to know who we can move to live.
Right.
And every other company just about has a safety net. So even if they say, oh, you only withdraw 50%, well, 50% is your safety net,
Yeah.
So it was just like we have to do certain things to go, how do we evaluate you to know that we can move you to live without just blowing money?
Right.
And so for the longevity of the company, for the longevity of being able to pay out traders, and just, you know, all the rules we have are there to, they make sense. They're there to help traders. They're not there to like, we're not hindering you by saying don't lose more than 30% of your account on one trade. If that's hindering you, you're going to blow your account anyway. We're not hindering you from getting payouts. You're hindering yourself, you know, and it's just ridiculous, you know. So a lot of people got upset about it. And it's like, if you want to blow more than 30% of your account on one trade, then you're just gambling. And you would not do that with your own money. And if you would, then go do it and see how long you last, you know. And so we're trying to set very simple, basic guidelines where we can evaluate people to see who can we move to live to keep in line with the CME regulations. Because those who don't move people to live will be shut down. I
Oh,
would say probably within the next year.
you mean like prop firms that don't have a clear path to live? You're
Yeah,
saying, right?
exactly. They're
Okay.
going to be shut down. CME's not going to let them use their data.
Okay. Okay. We'll talk about live in a little bit, but going back to the rules, I agree with you. I mean, there's people on YouTube streaming where they say that my stop loss is my entire account, which is ridiculous, right?
You wouldn't do that with your actual account.
No, no
But
way.
you're doing it because it's a prop account. And the prop
Yeah.
account is meant to be used in a responsible manner for a long-term relationship. That's in the contract they signed.
Yeah.
They signed, I know I am here to establish a long-term relationship by trading responsibly with Apex.
Hmm.
So risking your entire account because, hey, it's not my money is not a mutually beneficial relationship.
Right.
And so, yeah, go somewhere else.
Exactly. I mean, if I'm trading $50,000, I'm not going to blow, first of all, 30% of my account in one trade. And I for sure, and there's no way I'm going to DCA all the way to zero in one.
Right. And we've seen people literally DCA away $1 million in
No,
a single
what?
day.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible, dude, man. Like I can't even imagine because like that's actually their real money kind of. They could withdraw it if they didn't lose that money, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So the hot topic right now on the new rules is the 30% trailing rule. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier.
Trillion?
Yeah, the 30%, where you can't lose more than 30% in one trade.
Oh, in one trade. Yeah.
Yeah. So people are asking two things. First of all, what if it's a brand new account? Well, it's very simple, right? It's 30% of your total trailing threshold.
Exactly. The total from the beginning, and it never gets less. So that's a big thing that people have got to understand is that 30% rule never shrinks. The dollar amount never shrinks. So let's say $2,600 is your trailing threshold. Okay. For a $50,000 account.
Right.
So 70, 30% of that is basically $750.
Yep.
So it stays 750. It doesn't matter what you make on that trade or what you make on that day or what your balance is tomorrow or anything. As long as your balance is less than 52,600, it's $750.
Right.
So a lot of people were thinking like, oh, what if I make 100, then I can only lose 30 on the next trade? It's like, no, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
So, and then once it gets above 52.6, then it's 30% of that larger amount. So if you're at $10,000, then you can lose $3,000. So if you're at $20,000, you can lose, like 6,500, $7,000.
Right.
So it only gets bigger.
Right. So it grows with your account pretty much. So like the more buffer you have, the more leeway you have per trade.
Yeah, a lot of people were just thinking like it could get smaller if you only made $100, then all of a sudden you could only lose $30. They just totally misunderstood them.
Yeah.
So it starts out at 30%. Basically, you look at what your stop loss, like what your stop amount is,
Mhm.
and it's going to be 30% of that until you pass that profit.
Okay.
So
And,
if you can risk $2,500 until you pass that, it's going to be 750.
okay.
It'll never shrink. And then it'll go up once you pass that in
Okay.
profit.
And what happens if let's say let's say if a trader just maybe once or twice, let's say to 900 instead of 750. and it goes back up and they make a profit. And let's say they break even or they make like 100 bucks.
If it's once or what we're doing right now, because we're trying to be very accommodating, is if it's once or twice, we're not going to be a big deal. If it's a huge amount, like if you're like 60%, then and then it goes back up, you make $10, and that's going to be a problem, right?
Yeah.
But right now, and also we're working on a program to alert people when they've done it. So, because our goal that we're trying to get to, hopefully by the end of the year, will be you'll get notified before you get a payout, before you're eligible for a payout. So instead of finding out after you requested money to get paid out that you broke a rule, which you should know anyway, because you should be a responsible trader knowing that you broke the rule. We shouldn't have to tell you, but we're trying to help traders out. So let them know, hey, you broke this rule. Be careful. Don't do it again. Or you broke this rule, like you went 50%, you're gonna have to go 8 more days without losing 30%. So you won't even be able to request a payout. So instead of finding out after you requested a payout and you're like, hey, I'm gonna get my money, and then all of a sudden you get a denial because you broke the rules, you want to get to where we're letting you know up front, hey, you're getting close, or you went over a little bit, don't do that again, or sometimes you set a stop and it goes too far.
Right.
Like it just stopwatch just gets busted. So we understand that's going to happen. We're not going to like, oh, it's 32% up. You're not getting paid. That's not the goal of the rule. The goal of the rule is don't risk a whole lot of your account over and over and over again.
Okay.
So now if somebody wants to be stupid and risk 25% 3 times in a row, they're welcome to do it. We're not going to hold them accountable for that. We think that's dumb, but they can do it. So we try to keep the rule really simple.
Okay. And you mentioned just now, like, so you guys are gonna come up with a system where it'll alert the trader. So if they do break a rule on accident or on purpose or whatever it is, they'll know, right? They'll be notified of it and they'll know ahead of time. Like
That's what we're working on right now. That's part of 3.0 is we have a staff of 15 programmers. So
okay.
we're programming a lot of stuff right now. We just put out a new engine. It's going lightning fast. We rolled it out yesterday. There was a bit of downtime yesterday. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
While we were rolling it out. And now it's like it can pump out like 400 accounts a second. So no matter how many people are coming in, you don't have to wait 12 hours for your account to be activated. We're going to be updating the back end. We're going to be putting more graphs, more information, more communication about your account up front, so you know what's going on. Hey, this trade violated this rule. This trade violated this rule. There's just no way for us to do that manually with everybody. But and think about it, it's a lot of data. Think about tick data on hundreds of thousands of accounts. How do you keep up with that manually? You can't. So it's not a matter of not wanting to communicate. It's a matter of being able to communicate. And the only way to do that is with technology. And so we are working on programming all those reports right now.
Okay. And as far as payouts go, I think John mentioned in one of his interviews that are they going to be all pretty much automatically approved, or it'd be like an automatic process, right? Instead of having like a person individually approving each one because there's so many now.
We're working on automating that entire process. That's what we want to do. Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
We just have to have all the rules programmed in through reports to make sure that everything's being followed.
Okay. And as far as another
because we're doing like 12 to 15,000 payouts a month. That's and now we don't have as of the first in 2 days, we don't have a window anymore.
Yeah.
So people could submit any single day of the week, any single day of the month.
That's gonna be wild, man. I've been dreaming about this day for so long. You have no idea.
So we've gotten that far where we can do that. Because that's a lot to handle, right? That's every single day a request are coming in. So we've got to the point now where we can handle that. And so we're constantly improving. We've hired over 100 personnel. I remember when we had like 10, and now we have like 140. So we got a ton of personnel that are doing things and programming things and dealing with all different departments.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of another risk management rule, for the risk reward ratio, before it was 3-to-1, then 4-to-1. Now it's 5-to-1, correct?
Yeah, we just made it ridiculous. We're just like, okay, here it is, but it's hard. If you break this intra trade,
yeah,
then that's violating the rule. Now,
Yeah.
you're not going to lose. By the way, if you violate the 30% rule, violate the 5-to-1 rule, you don't lose your account. We may take away the trade. We
Okay.
may deny a payout, but it doesn't. But you don't lose your money necessarily. Like we can still let you pay out the next round.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are thinking like it's a rule, as in I lose my account. You
Okay.
don't lose your account.
Right.
So it's a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again. Now, if somebody's doing it repeatedly, then we could be like, hey, we got a problem. You know,
Yeah.
but most people were wise enough to, you know, not keep breaking it. They just broke it on accident. They didn't know,
Right.
they weren't paying attention. They didn't realize it was intratrade, stuff like that.
Okay. So if they do break that, on accident, or if they do it on purpose, maybe once or twice, that's fine. If they do it repeatedly, then they could possibly potentially lose the profits if they were to come back up on the trade and end up green. Is that correct?
Yep.
But that's case by case basis, right?
Right. And if
So
they keep doing it, then they could lose the account. But that had to be like a repeated intentional negligence.
yeah, that would just be on purpose at that point, right? I mean, they know what they're
Exactly.
doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing and they're doing it on purpose and they're doing it over and over despite the rules.
And
But I mean, they do it once or twice. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, things happen.
yeah,
I mean, I've had my wife's cat walk on my keyboard and jack me up. Things happen.
yeah. Okay, that's great. And another rule that a lot of people were getting denied for in the past was contract inconsistency. So I think now that it's more clear, now in Apex 3.0, when you can use half of your allotted maximum contracts until you hit a threshold, right? And after the threshold, you're pretty much free to use all of it.
Yeah.
Okay. But would there still be any chance of, rule breaking if they were to go from, like, let's say if they trade 2 lots to 10 on a 50K, if they were above the threshold? Because that's a big change in, risk.
Right.
But would they
As long
go
as it's
short?
not just out of the blue. We're looking for consistency. Dude, there are times when you load up because you see a really good trade,
Yeah.
but you also have a tighter stop,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So, you put on 10 contracts, maybe you're only risking 3 points, but you see like a setup that can get you 10. But then other times you're like, well, I see a setup that can get me 10, but I need to take like a 10-point stop. So I'm going to trade like 3 contracts,
Right.
you know? So we'll be able to see with the new software sort of what you're doing. And if you're just being stupid, which we've all been, or if you're just adjusting to market conditions.
Okay. That's great. So I think that's actually a really good idea because, like, if you're starting a 50K account, you shouldn't be using 10 contract anyways. That's just
Right.
insane. Um, so great. Another comment that people were hating on is DCA. Now I know DCA is back, but I remember the day that when DCA was enforced, it was always there. I remember I've been with Apex for 2 years. It was always in the contract, right?
Yeah.
And the day that it started getting enforced, where you can't DCA more than once, people were freaking out in Discord. I was around out with John. I mean, I don't even think he slept that night. But in any case, now DCA is officially back, right? You just have
Yeah.
to
And
not.
what happens is the 30% rule on one trade prevents people from like DCAing their entire account to obliteration.
Yeah.
So you can DCA, but that whole trade when you're adding in can't lose more than 30%, And so that allows DCA, but responsibly. So people who want to DCA at pivot levels or at Fibonacci levels or at deviation levels, things like that. They're not just throwing in more contracts, more contracts, more contracts, more contracts, to where it just gets where they, all of a sudden they have like an 80% drawdown. Then it pops back up and they make $100. Yay, but they just like risk like 80% of their account. The 30% rule takes care of that. That's why we were able to put that back in. It's not that we were against DCA. We were against people like obliterating their account by DCAing to oblivion.
Yeah.
So
Again, I mean, there are so many streamers that I see on YouTube that, like, they have people watching them every day, like hundreds of people, and these viewers are new. Like, so they look up to the streamer and this streamer literally just DCAs like every like 5 seconds in a loss, and they're just praying it goes back up.
Right, so they can look good to their subscribers.
Exactly. So they think that, so the subscribers think that they're like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. But no, the guy is just saying, please go back up so I look good and I can make some money and I don't blow the account. And more
Yeah.
often than not, when you do DCA, it does work, right?
It
But
works more often than not. Like 9 times out of 10, you make money, but the 10th time you lose it all.
yeah, exactly. It's like the one time it doesn't work, you're screwed. The entire account is pretty much blown at that point. It's
Like I
happened.
know option trades that win 90% of the time, but they make $1 when you win and they lose $10 when you lose.
Say that again?
Like I know option trades
Yeah.
that work 90% of the time,
Oh, okay.
but they make $1 when you win, okay,
Yeah.
and they lose $10 when you lose.
Okay. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense at all
So
because
therefore, you lose $1 in the end of the 10 trades. Yeah,
mm,
and I mean that's what DCA is. It's a high percentage winning trade that makes a little bit a lot, and then loses a whole lot occasionally.
yeah. Okay, so just to be clear on the DCA rule. So you can DCA, you just have to follow within the risk guidelines. You cannot go past the 30% per trade and the 5-to-1 risk ratio. Is
Right.
that
And that's
correct?
while the trade's open.
Right.
So that's not just I closed it at 30%.
Yeah.
Like it can't go 50% down and then come back up and you close it at 29. Like it's
Okay.
while it's open, 30% is the max.
Okay. So when you DCA, 30% also increases because your contract is your buying power is also more increased. So
So it's fat, you get that 30% faster
yeah,
if you have more
exactly.
contracts.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it stays at like say 750 on a 50, $1,000 account. But if you also you're doing 2 contracts, then 4 contracts, then 5 contracts, that you're gonna get that 750 a whole lot quicker.
Yeah. So it's still 750, right? Like it doesn't matter when you enter it, it's based on
Right.
that trade.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I think that pretty much covers it for the new rules of Apex 3.0. As far as regulations go, can you speak a little bit more about that? Because I think that's what everyone is talking about right now. Like every single CEO at every prop firm is bringing this up. They're all trying to make a clear path to live. So if you can share some insight on what you've heard so far and what Apex has been going through to deal with regulations, that'd be great.
Yeah, we had to document everything out for the CME. So this isn't just like it's gonna happen. It's like it's happening,
For
right?
sure. For sure, right?
Like and we have somebody on our staff that's worked with the CME and worked with the CFTC at exchanges
Oh
for
wow.
over a decade. So he's our head of compliance. And so we don't just have like some random person talking to them. We have somebody who knows how to, work in the compliant, exchange world. And so, like I said, we document everything out, what we're doing, how we're doing it, what people we've moved to live. We had to list like all the people we've moved to live, everything, and prove it. They looked up the accounts, all that stuff. It's funny because people are like, oh, they never moved anybody to live. It's like we had to prove that we moved people to live. We had to give them accounts. And then say, what are we doing to, what is our game plan? What are we trying to accomplish here? And they've actually shut down one company who came in and said, we never want to move people to live. They tried to get a data feed, they couldn't get it.
Oh wow.
And and there's other companies out there that have no path to live. And as soon as the CME gets a hold of them, they're going to be shut down. So not just by the CME, but they'll be shut down by the providers that have the platforms. Because they're going to have to shut them down if they don't have, if they don't meet certain requirements.
Okay.
Like I know Tradeovate now is having to go through a process with everybody, or they're not having to, they're choosing to, going through a process with every new company they onboard. And so if you notice a company has like Rhythmic, but it doesn't have Tradeovate, that's a warning sign to you. Because Tradeovate is being very, very, above board in who they let on, which I think is great. It's helping clean up the industry.
Right.
So watch out for the Rhythmic only companies. Okay.
Okay.
There's a reason they're Rhythmic only.
Okay.
And because Trade Evade is owned by Ninja Trader, who's a brokerage. So they have the highest level of scrutiny, you know. Now they have set apart the software side as a different company, you know, so it's not under the exchange, you know, or brokerage at all. But it just uses their software. But they still want to be completely above board and be in line with the CME's goals. And the goals are there is a path to live. And so we've always had that path to live. Our biggest problem was we didn't have the ability to monitor everybody to make sure people were doing what they needed to do. So we didn't just go blow a bunch of money. We're getting not only the people, but we're also getting the technology to monitor people. And as we put that into place, we'll be able to move people to live on a much faster pace.
Okay.
So, which is, I mean, you're a trader. You ultimately, that's where you want to be.
Right.
You know? So, and we'll have the option to be paid out. We'll have the option to half of it in the account, half of it paid out. We'll have the option to all of it in the account. You know, so we already have those options. And we have traders that do all three. Some people just go, hey, give me my cash. Some people say, well, give me half my cash and put half my cash in the live account. Some people put it all in the live account. I want the live account. So
Okay. And is going live with Apex, is it mandatory or could they choose some sort of hybrid model or how would that work?
once you're chosen to go to live, you have to go to live.
Okay.
That's how it is with every company that actually moves people to live.
Yeah, I think I know that as well because there's other firms that also when you go live, you're pretty much cut off the sim environment. You have to go live at that
Yeah.
point. So okay, so with Apex, if you're chosen to go live, how does that work? So how long does it take to set up? What does live trading look like? How do payouts work?
Right now, it's taken us a couple weeks. Hopefully, we're trying to get that downwards faster. You can trade in the same software that you're on. Your entire, if you want your entire balance, even if you had 20 accounts, moves over to the live environment. And we can set you up right now. The CME is allowing for 3 accounts. So we can set you up in 3 accounts. But let's say you had $200,000 between your 20 accounts. Then we'll just put like, $65,000, $70,000 in each account.
Okay. And how many accounts could you have live with Apex?
3.
Three.
And,
Wow.
and that's the brokerage requirement. That's not ours. It used to be 20.
Okay.
So
Do you think in the future you could maybe increase that, or
we're working on it. So that's as we're working with the CME, we're trying to work on that.
yeah, because I think 20 accounts, it's not just about leverage, right? It's more about the
Psychology.
mentality, psychology. Exactly. It makes you feel like your risk is being spread out, which it is. So like when you lose like $50 across 20 accounts, it hurts a lot less than losing $1,000 in one account.
Right.
Even though it's the same amount of money.
And even though you go from 20 to 3, you were able to use 20 accounts to build up all that cash.
Yeah.
For the 3, or take out half. You made 200 grand, take 100. I'd say take half of it and run. Go buy a new car, enjoy it. You get paid to trade, right?
Yeah.
So do something with some of your money.
Okay. And as far as live accounts go, are there any rules in live accounts like with PAs?
John handles all that. They're like you don't have like a 30% max profit rule. You can withdraw every single day.
Okay.
If you want to draw today, tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, you can literally draw every single day. We do have like the 30% rule made it to be like a hard stop rule just to keep you from blowing the entire account.
Yeah.
I know he has some sort of day like rule in there to keep you from blowing the live money.
Okay. So there might be like some sort of like a daily loss limit for a live
Right.
account.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to keep you from blowing the account.
Yeah.
You won't lose your account. It's not going to go away. It's just gonna be like, hey, cool off. So you can trade tomorrow and keep withdrawing cash.
Okay. So you can withdraw every day in a live account. You get 3 accounts, and also the consistency rule of making more than 30% in one day is no longer there in a live account.
Please make 1,000%.
Yeah, because everyone wins, right? The trader wins and you win, right? You take
exactly right. Yes.
Okay. And what happens if, like, let's say a trader just goes through a bad week and they lose their live account? What happens then? Can they go back to trading in a evaluation, pass again to a PA, and then
Usually we'll let them go back through an evaluation, but we'll make them take a period of time off,
okay,
like a cooling off period, like 30 or 60 days.
okay, just to mentally reset themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've only had a few that have just blown it out. So,
Have you had people
and
come
we
up?
also give some coaching, not advice, okay, but just like, hey, okay, let's make sure you understand what liquidity means.
Right.
You know, like don't try to do 100 contracts on MNQ. You
Yeah.
know, something like that. Hey, if you want to go down ES, have at it, but like or on NQ. You know, I mean, it's we go through the DOM with them and help them understand that. And so that's one thing we're looking at doing is maybe me doing like some educational sessions with our live traders. Because I've traded very big lots. I've traded 100 lots and stuff like that.
Wow.
And so I've moved the market accidentally, got out very quickly. But so just trying to share some of those, points that I taught over at Apex Investing, try to teach some of those to our live traders. So we thought about me doing some webinars for our live traders, just to help them transition into the big boy world, because I mean that's ultimately where you want to end up.
Right.
And because that's where you truly earn your financial freedom. Because yeah, you're using it with us, but you can go open your own live account.
Right.
And you can be, I'm not saying you will be, but that you've actually passed the ability to be successful.
Right.
And then the real goal is to be able to pass that on in my world is to pass it on to my kids, So, because my kids have all different goals, and it's not to be a trader, but like they trade to make money. Like my kids don't get what do you call it? They don't get money for doing chores. Okay, they don't get an allowance.
Okay.
If they want money, like they have things they have to do. Okay, just as being part of the family. But if they want money, they have to trade. So I've made it to where that they learn that skill set. So when my daughter, she's going to be a vet. When she's in a vet, the first couple of years, she's not going to make anything, but she can like trade for a couple of hours and actually make a living.
Yeah.
So just to pass that on and create a different generation.
Yeah, because trading is an actual skill that you can learn. It's not like a talent. I mean, there's of course talent involved, but you can actually learn it and be good at it and make real money with it. Anyone can do it.
Exactly.
Right. And one more thing about live, I want to ask about is like how many contracts do you get in a live account?
We started off small. We started off at 10,
Okay.
and then we grow it from there because we want to, again, the number one mistake we saw live traders do is go in with like literally like 30 contracts on like NQ and then move the market on themselves and get slammed.
Yeah.
So and then as you're handling that, we just increase it because we really don't care how many contracts you're trading. Um, the more the merrier. But as long as it's within how the market moves and works.
Okay. So how would you increase a trader's size? Would just be based on how they're doing in their performance, how much their balance is? Because I know like if you open an account at like Thinkorswim, one NQ is $18,000 to just trade one contract there.
Right. Yeah, we don't have to put up the margin. Well, it depends on which broker it is. One broker we have to put up the margin. One broker we just have to put up risk. So different brokers have different rules for the money we put up because we're not really a prop firm because you don't put in your money to trade. We're a evaluation funding firm. So prop firms actually work a little bit differently. So but everybody says prop firm because it's the easy term to use. But so basically we just look at, okay, you're handling this, and then you just say, hey, can I have more contracts? It's like, yeah, here you go. You just ask for them.
Okay.
Go a couple weeks, do well, don't kill yourself, make a little bit of money, need more contracts, you got it.
Okay.
We're all about that. I mean, we love giving people contracts to go and make as much as they can. So I'm live. I mean, that's really the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah. So in your, do you think going forward, your vision for Apex, aside from, just with the evaluation PAs, is your goal to have, a lot of traders in live?
Yeah, we want an army of traders in live. It actually helps us out risk wise because the more people you have going long, going short, right? It neutralizes your risk. If I got 100 people long and 100 people short, then I don't really have any risk in the market in my account. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the more we have, the more neutral our risk is.
Right. Because it balances out, right? Because everyone's different. Some might go long, some might go short, some might do this, some might do that, whatever. At the end of
Exactly.
the day, you have equilibrium kind of.
Yeah. So when we have like we're looking at all these different risk management softwares that help us balance that out, and all that. So yeah, that's one thing that Dan, who oversees the compliance and regulation, all that, he's very familiar in balancing out books and portfolios and everything else and making sure we're managing risk, which is good. Because if
Yeah.
you don't have somebody who knows how to do that, you're gonna go out of business.
Yeah.
And you as a trader want to have a solid company behind you, not just one that popped up overnight, not just one that offers the fanciest rule on this or that, but that has a staff that knows what they're doing.
Hmm. So would a live trader be assigned, like a risk manager kind of? You
Um,
see them?
I see that happening as we move forward. So I mean, right now it's just sort of it's all under John and Dan,
Hmm.
but as it gets bigger and bigger, like we'll have like groups, and it'll probably a lot of people that are overseeing payouts now. As that gets more automated, will move over to risk managers.
Okay.
Like their position will move. We never worry about getting rid of people. We just you know, position them in the company for what's needed next.
Okay. That sounds really cool. I mean, like if I could withdraw daily with Apex, if I could make more than 30% a day, if I could just have more freedom in my trading with Apex and not worry about, getting denied or whatever, yeah, that would be amazing. Everyone will be happy with that because
Yeah, you would never get denied in live. I mean, it's
yeah,
live.
there's no way. I mean, it's a live error. You're making your own money, right? So there's no denials are gone at that point. It's just withdrawing
Yeah,
money.
there's no like us reviewing the process. It's like, okay, they want 500, then they have it. Yep, they have 500. Or they want 50,000, they have 50,000. Yep, okay, here. And we just wire it out that day.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So as far as Apex moving forward, what do you
and
have?
that's one thing too. I don't know if you noticed, but our payouts now are next day.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So we are the fastest payout company. No other company has figured out how to do this, but we are literally paying out next day.
Yeah.
So like you request the money today. If we approve it today, you'll see it in your bank tomorrow.
Yeah. And I've seen that actually. I requested earlier this month and then it got approved on Tuesday, Wednesday morning. It was in my bank. I was like, holy crap, it's really there. Like that has
So we're
never
trying to make
happened before.
everything faster and more automated and smoother and all
Yeah. I think that one thing right now before people go live, what they're concerned about is just denials. So as long as Apex can make it more automated, like I said earlier, and
that.
they'll
Yeah.
and they'll know ahead of time and how to like what they did wrong and how to fix that and how to, maybe trade 8 more days and then you could request again and then if you're breaking rules, you get approved.
Yeah.
That'll be great. Because
Yeah.
at the,
And remember, denials are less than 1% of our payouts.
yeah,
So it's just people who get denied are very loud.
that's true.
So, like I made one influencer made a video and they had like thousands of likes, but like 80% of the comments were negative.
Yeah.
So the positive people liked the video, but they didn't write anything. The negative people are the ones that wrote everything, you know? So, just remember, like, I mean, whatever, we're making 12 to 15,000 payouts a month. So we're not in the business of denying people.
Yeah. I think
So
tonight.
they broke a rule. They usually don't like the fact they broke a rule. They don't understand why they broke a rule. It's okay. You can still get paid. Just be patient and follow the rules next time.
Exactly. I think
And we're here to obviously if we're paying out around $30 million a month, we don't have a problem paying out.
right.
Just like let that simmer in your head when you see these people all complaining about denials. It's like you're seeing the 1%, not the 99% that have been paid. If you're on the Apex official Facebook page, you see tons of I got paid out, I got paid out, I got paid out. Yeah, that's where people post it like crazy.
Yeah. So people get like who get denied. I mean, like you said, they're the most vocal, they're the most loud because they feel like they've been cheated. But that's not really true because most times they're the ones cheating Apex by breaking the rules, right? I mean,
Right. And it's not that it doesn't even mean that they were being intentional. We're not trying to say they were nefarious, or I mean, there are some people that are, but they broke the rules.
yeah.
So they just got denied. It didn't mean they got robbed. It doesn't mean they can't still get their money out. It just means they need to follow the rules.
Hmm. Okay. So as far as the future goes for Apex, um, what do you, as a company owner, what excites you the most?
Um, we got a whole new software system being built, which I'm really excited about. It's going to make this thing look more current, more up to date, more user friendly tools. But also we're going to be launching with a company called Well Charts.
What's it called?
So and
What's it called? Wealth charts?
Well Charts, yeah.
Okay. I'll check it out afterwards.
And so I'll be sending out an email to users here. I think there's if you go to wellcharts.com/AII, you can actually sign up for a free trial of it. But it is a amazing platform. Like, I mean, top notch, award winning for like the last decade. Like, it is a really, really, really good platform. Um, it's web based, but you can pull everything off. I mean, you can have things on 10 monitors, whatever. So, and it is lightning fast, and it has infinite scalability built into it. So, like, it literally, like, when Charles Schwab and TDA went down, well, Chart stayed in, you know. Um, so we've been working with them, and so pretty excited about that. That's coming out. We already have over like 2,000 or 3,000 people testing it. And then we're going to send it out to everybody to test it with a chance to get like three free evaluation accounts. So that's coming out by the year's end, or sooner, probably sooner. And then the one other thing is we're looking at doing direct to funding.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. I was going to ask you that. Tell me more about that, please. Let's go. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me.
So we're going to start out with just a couple of accounts. Okay, like a 50 and a 250 or something like that. And people come in and they go direct to funding. So they just skip the entire evaluation process.
Okay. And are those rules the same as PAs or are they
Yeah, it'll be the same. Yeah.
okay? Because most director funding companies that is 20%, not 30% for the consistency.
Ours will be 30% and ours will pay out more money. Most of the other ones cap you out at like $12,000 and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. And and this would be considered a PA account?
It'll be a PA account that the plan is to move it to live. Yeah.
Okay. So if right now I have, let's say, 15 PAs just from passing evals, and then you offer directed funding, I could maybe get five more just by doing that to make the 20 rack, right? The 20.
That's right.
Okay. Wow. And what account size are you offering? Just the same amount right now?
I think we'll start off at like 50 and 250.
So 50K, 250K. Okay.
Yeah. And then eventually we'll add on, more sizes.
Okay. And that's obviously a one-time fee, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Let's see. And as far as account types, do you guys ever offer end of day accounts?
Okay, so here's the thing on end of day that nobody gets. All right. If you look at the numbers of pass rate, 20% more people pass trailing than pass end of day accounts. So more people are passing our trailing than are passing end of day. Then the companies post their numbers at the bottom of their website. So that's how we know.
Right.
So, I mean, we may look at doing that, but the big thing is with end of day, usually you have a daily drawdown. Usually you have a cap on payouts. And usually you have slow scaling, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to offer that, we'd have to change up our model. It wouldn't be able to go like straight 5, 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be unlimited payouts and stuff like that. It would, it'd have to be a different model.
Right.
So are we considering it? Yes, just because people keep asking for it. But part of me is like 20% more people are passing with trailing. And we think about it. We paid out $330 million. We can pay out more in a month than most of them paid out in their life.
Right.
Using date like end of day. End of day, psychologically, here's what it does for you. Okay. You feel all good because it's not showing and all that stuff, but you get up and then it comes down. And then you're like, hey, if I get back up, and then it comes back down, you're like, hey, if I just get back to break even, and then you don't, and then you close, and then you're trying to get back to break even, then you're trying to get back to, you start playing this break even game in your head. And you end up over trading with the end of day instead of protecting your profits. So the trailing teaches you how to protect your profits. The end of day basically just lets it be game on unless you and you end up over trading and you end up blowing your account. And that's why the 20% less pass. And that's why a lot less money gets paid out.
Right.
And remember that once you pass your trailing threshold, there is no trail.
Exactly.
So it goes away.
Right. Okay. One more thing I want to ask you. I saw this on another prop firm. Are you guys ever going to offer like a $500,000 account, $1 million account? This is a prop firm offering 500K and 1 million right now. I don't know how it's working, but just a thought.
I don't see the point.
Yeah.
Just buy 300K accounts.
Yeah. 300K is amazing.
They probably don't offer 20 of them, do they?
I don't think so, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, whereas with us, if you get 300K accounts, you're doing $6 million.
Yeah. Okay. So, Darrell, I know you're a trader yourself. Do you trade with Apex or do you trade your own live accounts normally?
I trade my own money because I mean it's my company, right? So
Yeah.
I do like
Oh,
trade
yeah.
my money either way.
Right. So, in your opinion, what makes a good trader?
Um, Discipline, patience, and a solid strategy.
Okay. And in your opinion, what is the hardest part in that? In my opinion, it's psychology, which is discipline.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I'd say ego, wanting to be right.
Right. Yeah. Because cutting losses is just it's hard, right? Especially if you're a new trader. When you see
Yeah,
red, you just
yeah.
don't.
Let it come back, and then it does come back, and then now you're rewarded for bad behavior, and you do it again, and it doesn't come back. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have a whole course on apexinvesting.com/mind mastery. That literally all it does is it's 8 hours of me teaching you about trading psychology and how to overcome the all the gremlins in trading psychology.
Okay, I'll check that out. I'll link it in the description below as well. Um, and as far as to your trader community, is there anything you want to say? Just, like, do you want to say anything, just anything you want to say to your community?
I'd say thank you for your patience. So it's been like a bit of a wild ride the last 6 months
Yeah.
because we grew so fast during the first 6 months that it was really hard to keep up with everything. And so we got a little behind on our customer service. It wasn't at the level that we expected it to be. And then we had to get the staff to start managing everything. And then we had to figure out, okay, we got to implement these rules, but okay, is there a better way to implement this and make it simpler? And so we had to go through some changes over the last 6 months. And so I thank everybody for their patience and for believing in us. And I think it shows through our payouts being so high and continuing to be high. Um, and we look forward to paying out $1 billion deal. So.
Yeah. I cannot wait until you get there. I'm so glad I found Apex in my life. You really changed my life. So I want to give you your flowers, Darrell. You really helped a lot of us. Like, I'm serious. Without Apex, the prop firm industry would not be what it is. It's because of Apex that all these prop firms are coming up. They have 20 accounts, they have sim, they have live, everything, all these rules. It's because of you guys. I mean, you guys really just reinvented the space.
Right.
So, and especially with you, like you starting it out, just it's amazing. Like man, when you started out, I don't think you ever thought it would be this big and how much of an impact this would have on so many people.
I had no idea it'd be this big. Yeah.
Yeah. So just want to say thank you. I see you all the time on Facebook in an official group. You're always responding to people. You're always very nice and helpful. So I want to thank you for that as well, because whenever I
Yeah.
need help, you're always there for me.
Yeah. I try to be like in the pits with everybody, like on the ground floor. So I've noticed a lot of CEOs are never online, they're in their little private Discord group maybe, but that's it.
Yeah.
And I sort of want to be out there and know what's going on and have the pulse, of the community. So
Right. Well, I want to thank you for your time, Daryl. And thank you for being here, for answering our questions, just for giving us your time and your thoughts on Apex and the future of the regulations, everything with that. I want to shout out to the entire Apex staff. Shout out to John, Marion, Dex, Meta, Toby, Hugo, Hamza, Ricardo, everyone. Everyone has been great. I haven't had one bad experience with the Apex staff, and I've been with you guys for a long time. So
It's awesome.
yeah, I just want to say really thank you for that. And is there anything else you want to say before we close off the call?
No, just thank you for being a customer, and hope we can do even better for you.
Okay, great. So thanks again, and I wish you in Apex all the best of luck. And I hope I can have you back here. Maybe later on we can have a live session with the community, and we can see how that goes. But until then, just thank you so
Yeah.
much for what you're doing.
All right. Sounds great.
All right, so see you
Thanks.
next time, Darrell. Thank you.
Thank you.